We are packing for a week-long trip. I got a pile of bags over here to go in the boat. Oh, that's really important, is they're eating well. A buddy of mine and myself are heading off for a week-long sea kayaking trip here on the west coast of Vancouver Island in British Columbia. And I got a pile of bags over here that need to go in the boat to make sure we have all the gear that we need. But I'm going to show you how I like to pack my boat. Yeah, kind of talk you through some of that. Let's go. So keep in mind, we are packing for a week-long trip. I'm packing for a week-long trip of all my food, clothing, gear, whatever emergency equipment I need, bedding, housing, tent, shelter, you know what I mean? Just all the things. So this looks like a big pile of gear, but we're planning for a week-long sea kayaking trip. And this particular boat was originally rated for actually the first kayak trip I ever went on. I was told that this boat was for an extended weekend and possibly a week-long adventure. And I was looking at this boat and I'd read books about these guys kayaking thousands of miles across the Northwest territories. And I was like, how on earth does that work if you're telling me this? And then I was thinking, okay, well, this is what I've packed in my backpack, and I've done a lot of backpacking, and I've carried food up to 2 weeks in the northern Alaskan ranges on backpacking trips. It's like, if I can do that, then I can pack this kayak. And I told the guy, I think I could pack this for 3 weeks. And he looked at me, he's like, I bet you can. And we did. My girlfriend and I at the time, we each got one of these boats, the same boat, and we went on our very first overnighter. Was a 3-week overnighter into Glacier Bay National Park in Alaska, and we packed for 3 weeks. And we had an amazing trip. We had many challenges and many triumphs, and nude beaches and skinny dipping and incredible bear sightings. Okay, we also had foul weather and arguments and those things too. I don't want to like paint it all rosy. And I have loaded it for up to 5 weeks, but it was pretty heavy in the water. It does more ideally, it can go with like more like to 3 weeks, stretching it to 4. Going for 5 was pushing it because I was carrying all of my food and gear. So that starts to get pretty weighted down and with lots of stuff on the top decks, which you don't necessarily want. But this is a week-long trip I'm packing for. The black containers are bear canisters. I'll explain those in a minute. And I'll show you how I load the boat. So in the back hatch, I tend to like to load things that I don't need to get to too frequently. So this is extra clothes that I don't think I need for the day. Clothing that I think I will need during the day, I tend to put in the front hatch or in the cockpit with me. But I put this in here like this. This is a dry bag, and I put it in this way so that when I reach in to grab it, reach in there, I have a handle to pull it back out. So, because at the end of the day, you're going to be unpacking the boat. Then I put in my sleeping bag. It's in a compression sack. That's what this is. So it squeezes the sleeping bag down, and a day pack with a first aid kit and some water purification tablets to treat water on the trail. And my tent poles, a bear canister goes in. They've been tested to be bear proof, and they're designed so that the bear's mouth can try to bite onto it, but it'll just roll away. They can't get a grip on it. Bear canisters go in, so there's lots of room still. Sometimes I put my hiking boots in there or some other things. So the food items, I make my own camp meals. I do dried bean mixes, split pea, corn chowder, different things. And then I put dried bacon in there and different things in there and seasonings. I carry my spices like garlic and pepper and often some sriracha sauce. I always get made fun of for how I say that. Something spicy. And then I'll just cook that all up. And I have tortillas and cheese, and I throw it on a tortilla with cheese, and it's just delicious. And it's nutritious, it's full of protein, and I think at the end of the day, it's bomb. So it works for me. So this is the cockpit where I sit. You know, you think of like a cockpit of a racing car. This is the cockpit of the sea kayak. This is the master repair kit. It repairs any broken buckles or bungee, tears in tents or rain gear. There's a sewing kit. I got pen and paper in here. Got some tools like pliers and a Leatherman. I have spare cables for the rudder. Yeah, so any kind of boat gear or camping gear repairs that I might need are in here. Duct tape, super glue, shoe glue to repair boots, and so forth. So it goes way up in here. It's good to stick your head inside the boat so you see where your pedals are too. Mine are always set at number 5. I also carry 3 liters of water, carry my cook pots and my stove because sometimes along the way we'll be cooking midday. Rope to tie off the boat. There's a paddle float. This actually slides on the end of a paddle and it will inflate so you can lean on the paddle and the side of the boat to get yourself back in. So this is a safety rescue piece of equipment that goes right behind the seat where I can quickly grab that. This is the dry bag for if I have a camera out and it's rough and before I come in for the landing, I can put it in the dry bag. That's behind the seat. I keep my water filtration kit behind the seat. You can see there's a lot of room behind the seat. This is a pea jar, so if I'm out on the water, I can take care of business because you can't always land on these rugged coastlines when you want to. So sometimes you need to take care of business in the middle of the ocean. And then this is a paddle leash, which hooks on to the bungee in front of me and hooks on the paddle blade. So when I'm paddling, if the wind or waves rips the paddle out of my hand, I'm not stuck in the water because that paddle would blow away or get pushed away in the wave so fast. I can just pull this leash back and I'll have my paddle back. So this is an awesome thing. And then often raincoat. And then I do have a survival bag that has like flares, smoke signals, fire starter, some spare neoprene long underwear so you'd have some dry clothes if I fell out of the boat. A flashing light, some first aid kit stuff. If I was ever to be pushed out of the boat in a dangerous situation, I could reach in, grab the bag and grab this bag and get to shore, and I have my radio and those supplies. So this goes up in here as well. And we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so loading the front hatch, I like to put in some of the lighter items so that the bow of the boat doesn't dive into the waves and it rides up a little over them. But I also like to put things in the front that are things I will more likely need during the day because I could pull my kayak up on the beach out of the waves, and this will be up on the beach out of the water, but the back of the boat will still be in the waves. And if you got some big waves, they can be splashing inside. I try not to get in the back hatch at all during the day, if at all possible. So in the front, I have my sleeping pad. So I put it in so the string is where I can reach it to help pull it out. Because again, it's down in there. So I want to be able to reach it and pull it out easy. I have extra clothes, felt insoles for the bottom of my boots that help keep your feet warm. Camera equipment. My cooking kit, because often, we may want to eat during the day and cook a meal. So there's fuel, there's a knife, there's bear spray. Put that in there. TP. And right now my boots are going in the front here. So yeah, and there's a neoprene cover that comes over this. So this is the neoprene cover I was talking about. And this is like a water sealed covering. They're rubber against plastic, and once this is on and clipped down, the waves as they hit the boat not going to get inside to get your gear wet. So the point is to keep your gear inside as dry as possible. And my hatches are really well sealed, so you'll see like my sleeping pad was not in a dry bag. I've been in boats where they leak a lot more and everything has to be in a dry bag. But I know this boat well, and I know how things stay dry, and yeah, and I've always been successful with that. So this is how I pack it anyways. So a few more things. Here is my main deck bag, which has things I really want quick access to on the water. Sun visor, sunscreen, some sunglasses, the prescription, so also some prescription glasses, some lens cleaner for my camera. I have a brace for my elbow in case I get sore, because that's happened before, so I kind of carry that. And my VHF radio, but that is it's a handheld weather radio, marine forecast radio, and it also has a feature where you can call in emergency, like to the Coast Guard or to the main emergency line for any nearby boaters. And then of course my map of where I'm going, watch to show me the time, and a spare paddle. Well, it's like having a spare tire in a car. You know, you want to have a spare tire in case you get a flat. Well, if a paddle ever broke, I want a spare paddle backup. I did add an extra bear canister. We are only going for a week, but we plan to live well and eat well while we're out there. So we went all out on the food. So there's also bungee decking here where you can strap something on if needed. There's a little extra room up in front here. And we're gonna get our outfit here together. We have the skirt, the seals around the cockpit here. Got the life vest. Got my knife. Quick grab knife there. Got a whistle. Or need to get someone's attention in a boat. I have a couple of small flares and some lip balm and some eye drops. I have a reflective mirror because I could use that to catch a reflection and flash someone down. Some waterproof matches. So, you know, everything's pretty much got a purpose and a place, and a lot of safety checks and backups just to make sure, you know, that we're not without things. And I carry doubles and extra with matches and lighters and, you know, fire starters sort of things. And yeah, and the main equipment that I need. Of course, I need my trusty binoculars, and they tuck very nicely right inside my vest. And I'm ready to go. Oh, and the bilge pump to pump the boat out. This is a bilge pump to pump the water out of the boat, and I keep that right here on the decking. This, you never stand in the boat, and it's always, when you're getting in, it's always 3 points. So I got 1 foot on the ground here. I put 1 foot lightly in the boat, but I'm not putting all my weight on it. Then I bring these 2 hands down. Now I'm putting my weight on the boat. Then I'm bringing my butt right down into the seat, wiggling my leg down into place to the foot peg, and then I can go ahead and grab this other foot. So now I'm weights in the boat. I can bring this foot in. It's a snug, you know, scoot in, as you can see. Once you're in there, it's super comfy. And so I'm getting the combing of the skirt around the combing of the cockpit. But yeah, and then when you're in there, my knees are engaged with the deck of the boat, and so it's really, really stable. You have control of the boat, you know, like I'm moving that right now. That's me, and I don't feel tippy at all. All right, guys. Well, the next video is going to be us going out on this trip. So check back in. It's going to be pretty cool. Of course, the longer the trip, the more gear you need, more clothing, more food, more camp fuel for the stove. And, you know, depending on if you're facing the outer coast or just inside waters, what kind of equipment you might need. So I'm just saying that the packing can get much, much more intricate than I just went through. I just went through a really quick, easy, for me, easy, fast, week-long packing scenario. And for me now, packing a week into this is no big deal. When I first got this boat and I packed for a week, my mind was blown, like how to make that work. So it definitely takes, it's a skill, it takes many, many touches, many adjustments to make sure, you know, to get everything to fit in there and to make sure you have what you need and that you're eating well. That's really important, is that you're eating well. The one thing that I can say about that trip that is really important to note is that I was really underpacked with good, high protein, nutritious foods. and I lost like 15, 20 pounds in 3 weeks. I was so high on life and the adventure and the beauty, the extreme beauty of Alaska and Glacier Bay National Park. Tidewater glaciers and calvings and bears and moose and whales and sea lions and seals and porpoises and just on and on and on. All the amazing things, but I didn't have the adequate food. So again, I just want to stress that it's really important to pack good food, good, what you need, what your body needs. You'll find what works for you and you know what works for you. So I just want to say that it's really important to pack good food. All right, guys, I am looking forward to hitting the water tomorrow morning, and we will dial you into this trip along the west coast of Vancouver Island, and there's going to be some incredible country and wildlife, and even some hot springs along the way. So it's going to be pretty cool. So dial in, tune in. Um, yeah, and a couple things you can do to support this channel that are absolutely free and easy are just throw up a thumbs up that you like it, throw down a comment, if you don't know what to say, a heart emoji or bear emoji or sun emoji or whatever it is, and then also subscribe. And those are all three easy free things you can do to help support this channel if you're enjoying the content. And I would love to see you down the road, and I'd love to hear from you. Just say, hey, I'm here, I'm kayaking in Wisconsin, or hey, I'm curious about this. What do you do about this? I will answer, I will get back to you, and I love to hear from you. So, hope to hear your questions and comments and see you out there on the water and down the road.